So last night decided to take the family on a little bit of an outing, went out to 417 Tap House, location very close to me. It's got a great setup for bar, food, drinks, you name it. But I go there for pinball.
Simpsons Pinball Party, Led Zeppelin Pro, Jurassic Park Pro, Ghostbusters.
Love me some pinball, and they've got the brand new James Bond Stern Pro machine, the Dr. No variation, if you will, out there on display, ready to play, so I had to get a crack at it. One of the cool things about the setup at 417 Tap House is that they do have all their machines, of course, connected with the Insider Connected. They even have a different display TV set up in the back wall. That way you can see all the leaderboards and the current rankings for all those Insider Connected machines. Happy to say I found myself at the number 5 spot on the new James Bond Pro, so I'm on the leaderboard, so that's always cool. But I love the setup they got. They even have a couple of machines that have the TVs on top. That way you can see the scoring display going on if you're trying to wait and see how the game's going for the person in front of you. Very nice touch. So first things first, I got to talk about the artwork. I honestly prefer the Pro setup versus the Premium LE. I'm a sucker for bright yellow, but I do love the Bond girls on the left side of the cabinet, and then the classic movie poster advertisement style on the right side, the Dr. No back glass. Personally, I just prefer it over the other options as far as the art styling that we get on the Premium LE, so that is a win in my book. Obviously, to each their own, everybody's going to have a different opinion. As far as the Pro layout and everything, I honestly think it's great. The Premium LE obviously have more bells and whistles and mechanical features, but for the price tag, me personally, I always still think to this day the Stern Pro is kind of the best bang for your buck out there on the market. George Gomez designed, and you can definitely tell this is a shooter's pinball machine. I'm a guy that personally kind of plays on the fly. This was very brutal to me the first 2 games I played, trying to play in my normal style of shooting things on the fly. When I just transferred over on my 3rd game to trapping up and really dialing and aiming my shots down, I had a much more successful game. Ended up getting around 284 million or something like that, which, I mean, it's a brand new game. It's respectable enough to me because I got a free credit on the game after that, so it was nice. But I did have some challenges with the upper flipper shot. I don't know what it was. Probably just my lack of skill, but for whatever reason, I could not get that shot figured out, the timing of it. Everything else in the lower playfield, upper playfield, I absolutely was okay with. I liked a lot of the features. The jetpack eject over on the left side of the playfield, I think that's a nice touch. And it's really kind of a nice kind of crutch you can lean on that kind of prevents any kind of left out lane drains or things like that. It was my personal experience that you really had to be not paying attention for this ball to go out the left out lane. Right out lane, different story, but the left out lane, thanks to the way everything is geometrically designed and set up on that playfield, more often than not, things will kind of kick over into that jetpack eject. Toys and features on this, I think is pretty sweet. The DB5 car eject mode for the Q, that is an absolutely awesome feature. It's very, in tune and on brand with the James Bond theme. Obviously, I love that they actually went with the Sean Connery James Bond stuff. It gives them room to grow if they want to do a much more updated new James Bond pinball machine later on down the road. Plus, that's kind of where a lot of people grew up with, is those classic Sean Connery James Bond films. So I think that was the right touch. As far as having the classic Bond music and the classic Bond film cuts and integrations on the scoreboard, I think that is a obvious no-brainer. I love that they did that. Obviously, getting the character likenesses, everything you see on the playfield itself with the actual actors and actresses likenesses represented, so that's good. There's no kind of blurry faces to where you know who it's supposed to be, but they didn't sign their likeness away or anything like that. So great job on them getting that complete. Obviously, the code and everything is still very early on. As these things go, the code typically gets better and better. I had no troubles or questions about what I was supposed to be doing when I did activate any kind of the villain or henchman modes. It was pretty concise as far as what shots I was supposed to be hitting, so that was good as far as the code aspect of it. And overall, I just had a great time, and that's really kind of all that matters when you're playing pinball. Do you enjoy playing the game? And I found myself really enjoying the game, really enjoying the ambiance, the experience, and everything like that. And overall, I think it's a great machine. Now, this is not by any means to be a complete review, because this is just my first-hand impressions of playing the game about 5 or 6 times last night. Tap House has a great pinball setup. They've definitely made a lot of changes over the last year or so, bringing in new games. They got the great setup in the back with the pinball room. And they also got your other typical bar style setup. So you got a Golden Tee in there. There's a Pac-Man. There's other pinball machines in there. There's a Data East RoboCop. There's a South Park. There's a Primal Rage arcade cabinet. And of course, there's Big Buck Hunter. Lots of fun games out there you can play if you don't really necessarily want to go back there and play the pinball games, but I'm there for the pinball games. They're having a James Bond release party this Saturday, and I think they're even giving away like a Lego Aston Martin prize for the winner, so definitely check that out if you're in the area. But overall, great time last night playing Dr. No, the James Bond Stern Pro machine.